Well, at least it wasn't directed by Michael Bay. Hope all of you enjoyed that new intro that just played. I plan on keeping it for the future. Make sure to leave your feedback on it below in the comment box, and I'll be updating it with new footage throughout the year for the new movies that come out this year, and also with the classic movie reviews that I'll be making soon. But in the meantime, it's time to review the film Act of Valor. Act of Valor is a supremely ambitious war action movie that focuses on these Navy SEALs who are played by real active duty Navy SEALs who end up conducting a mission in the Philippines to rescue the CIA agent that's being held hostage, but it soon evolves into a terrorist plot that could damage the United States of America that's being conducted through 3 villains on an international level that are all interlinked in some way. Now, just to warn all of you that are watching this is going to be one of my most personal, difficult, yet extremely important reviews I've had to make, and I'm going to list several reasons why this is going to be such an important review for me. For my entire life, I have grown up in a military family. My dad has been a United States Marine for over 20 years, and because of him, I have been introduced to the history of the military, even all the branches, but most specifically the Marines. I have grown the utmost respect for all these guys that go out and do this job, because it's one that requires very bold courage and ambition to conduct, and you can never really sly your way out of anything because you have to have the full commitment to do this job because of all the hardships it has. And because of my dad doing this profession, he is retiring soon, but from all the stuff that he has done in his career, I highly respect him for what he has done, and he has become a personal hero for me, especially when I really dive into the aspirations I have for the future. I always think of him as one of my most personal idols in doing that. And also because of that, I've grown very accustomed to watching many types of war movies, specifically ones like Saving Private Ryan, Apocalypse Now, Platoon, and a whole lot more. You ask if I've seen it, there's an 85 to 90% chance that I have seen it already. And also because I learned about the history and aspects of the Marines and other military branches, including the Navy, Navy SEALs, Coast Guard, and so forth, I have really grown accustomed to exploring the realism of what surrounds all those branches, and that really is going to help me in fully dissecting my opinion on this film. One thing that I assume that everyone, including me, is going to agree on a universal basis is that the action in this movie, when it comes to the Navy SEALs conducting the missions, they are profoundly realistic in every way. The filmmakers, along with the real Navy SEALs used to portray the characters in this movie, use authentic weaponry and live ammunition to shoot all the action scenes. And when you hear the sound of all the bullets and gunfire going off during these missions where they're in the line of fire, it is so realistic because you really feel like you're on the battlefield with them. In addition, the techniques that the directors use to shoot all of these big action sequences are very realistic because even though it is filmed mostly with handheld digital cameras, it enhances the experience to a further degree because it ends up making you feel like you're in their position, because everything is just going all at you with bullets and gunfire coming all around you. You feel like you're one of the Navy SEALs in that position because everything is coming so fast-paced that it begins to disorient you. Alongside the action, the cinematography is very good because not only do you feel like you're one of the Navy SEALs in this film when they're in the line of fire, but it also conducts some very great set pieces, specifically in the action sequences, that really hit home for me. Now, unfortunately, those two aforementioned aspects are the only things in this film that I can give positive credit to, because everything else just bugged the hell out of me. And once again, as I said before, a lot of these criticisms are going to come from the fact that I've been raised in a military family and my dad has taught me so much about the military in general. It's a truly ambitious approach to have real active duty Navy SEALs star in this movie, and while that truly enhances the points when they're in combat and also having intel interactions on what the mission is with each other, the acting is awful in this movie. And once again, I have the full respect and admiration for these guys doing this type of project, but when it comes to them having actual interactions that don't have anything to do with the mission and also doing reactions to something that should be very emotional to the viewer, they fall so flat because their line delivery is very one note throughout the film. Furthermore, besides the action, the movie screams military propaganda throughout the film, in which really it should have been a Navy recruitment video, or let alone a music video done by a band that's very passionate about the military overall. Like Three Doors Down would have been a perfect example to do it if it ended up like that, because they did one for the National Guard called Citizen Soldier, which I still regard as one of their best songs. Also, Also, the writing for this movie follows military movie 101 writing, because nearly every type of cliche that you can find in military movies is present in this film, especially for the backgrounds where some of these characters come from, specifically the one that involves a Marine who has a pregnant wife back at home. Like, we haven't heard of that before. Also, the three villains that are sporadically linked together in this big plot that culminates in a terrorist plot that is centered on America. The choosing of these three guys feels like they were drawn out of a hat from a bunch of potential villain choices, and they just threw them into the story in a half-assed manner. Now, before I give my full rating for this movie, as I said before, I have a lot of admiration and respect for the military overall, and I have the utmost respect for the Navy SEALs that decide to come out of their job and end up taking part in this experience. So I fully respect everyone who had a hand in this movie, but coming from the military background that I'm part of, the movie only succeeds in delivering a profoundly realistic depiction of the missions that these guys send her on, but the rest of it is just so bogged down by cliches, awful acting, and tons of military propaganda. I know that the intended audience for this movie is people who are very passionate about the military, specifically the Navy SEALs, but even more, especially with the first-person shooter angles during the action sequences, it really just amounted to being a movie that's supposed to be a ploy to get the Call of Duty / Battlefield generation into showing respect for the military, for the fact of making how cool this movie is. And that's why I'm unfortunately gonna have to give Act of Valor a 1.5 out of 5 stars. So I hope you enjoyed my review of Act of Valor, and keep in mind this was a very personal and important review for me to make. And I'd also like to thank all of you for helping me reach over 100 likes on my Facebook page. I'll have more reviews coming this weekend for Wanderlust tomorrow, and then I'll be reviewing the on-demand movie Goon, which is coming next week. I'll also have more reviews and other stuff coming soon, so in the meantime, I'm Tyler from CaliCritic Reviews, and I'll see you guys later. And to all the people in this world that are enlisted in the military, I salute all of you.